Grief is something that we all go through at some point in life, and finding a way to process it can be difficult. If you've lost someone, gone through a major life change, or are just carrying a heavy heart, you're not alone. I've found that art can be a spiritual practice of healing, a way to connect with ourselves, with the ones we've lost, and even with something greater than ourselves. Whether you paint, write, sculpt, or just like to doodle on the margins of your notebook, creativity can help you process emotions in ways that words sometimes can't. Grief is more than just sadness. It's a mix of emotions like anger, confusion, guilt, and even numbness. And art can give us a way to express those emotions without judgment. Studies actually show that creative activities can lower stress, reduce anxiety, and help us make sense of complex emotions. And in many spiritual traditions, creativity is seen as a divine act, as a way to channel energy, emotions, and spirit. When we create, we're not just making art, we're creating space for healing. And you don't have to be a professional artist to benefit from creative expression, or even an artist at all. There are several ways to process grief through different mediums of art. There's journaling and writing. Sometimes getting words on paper can really help untangle your thoughts. I know that really helps with me, just writing things out and being able to fully express myself without worrying about judgment from another person. You could even write a letter to the person that you've lost, or even keep a grief journal to help you process these emotions and get everything out. There's also painting and drawing. Abstract art can be a really great way of processing grief, and there's no structure to it, and it kind of creates more comfort knowing that it can be whatever you want. It might be helpful to use colors that correlate with what you're feeling, like using blues and cool colors if you're feeling really sad, or reds and warm colors if you're feeling really angry. And then there's things like sculpting or collaging, which kind of uses your hands more, and using your hands can be really grounding. And with sculpting and collaging, I feel like you can do a lot more because you're not as focused on the little details that like painting or drawing can have. One of the hardest parts of grief is feeling like you may have lost a part of yourself. But through art, you can honor your emotions and even keep the memory of a loved one alive in a beautiful way. Letting your love fuel your creativity can be a way to celebrate the impact that they had on your life. It's really important to remember that it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't even have to be good. It just has to be yours. Give yourself permission to create freely without judgment. Healing is messy. Grief isn't linear. And art really isn't either of those things. And that's okay. When I lost my dad, I had never felt so much pain. Me and him were really close. And although his death wasn't exactly sudden, it kind of was. And I I had time to come to terms with the fact that he might be passing, but it came a lot sooner than we thought. And when he did pass, I didn't know what to do with myself, really. And I had a hard time sleeping. And so when I couldn't sleep, I would just let myself draw and write. And I literally did not have even the capacity to judge myself or overthink or be my usual perfectionist self. I just created whatever came to my mind. And out of that came some of my favorite pieces that I've done to date. And so with using art as a way to process and heal from grief, I feel like it's very important to let go of that judgment and just let yourself feel and create. Grief never really fully goes away, but art gives us a way to carry it differently. If you're struggling with grief, I really encourage you to pick up a pencil or a paintbrush or some cheap clay or some magazines just to collage with, and just let yourself create however you want. You might be surprised at how much better it makes you feel. And make sure that you're gentle with yourself through this journey and to take care of yourself. I wish you nothing but the best in healing.